indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Back to work here in a minute. Minutes.
I didn't find anything. Didn't have any changes.
I'll say motion to approve.
I'll second that.
John?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes. We do schedule reports, and the second meeting of the month is set aside for Chief John Phillips with the Volunteer Fire Company.
I have no report tonight since you've got a pretty large agenda.
We do. I was going to mention that, but this is all at that time of the year with maintenance and lawn mowing and flower beds and whatnot. So it'll go fairly quickly, I think. But thank you, Chief. Any questions for fire department? Maybe. Mr. Everly.
Well, we made it for a week without plowing.
Hey.
We brought in, we've got about 700 tons of salt in the building, so we've got all of, except for the 20% extra, I believe, of the salt. And so we're going to go ahead and at our leisure we'll do that. And with the intention to fill up the dome again to 1,800 tons. Had a couple little issues. We had a little issue with the Emmerich's truck, which is under warranty. I had guys an electronics problem. Had to have Rush take care of it. They took care of it in a couple days, and we're back to new. So everything's running really good. No problems there. As you can imagine, we've been out and we got a requisition in here. We put down a lot of coal patch, and we're going to continue to put down coal patch. And right now we're spending most of our lunch hours crossing our fingers hoping the frost goes out nice and even. But we do have sanctuary, and I've never seen a road heave like sanctuary. And Emmerich and I drove it pretty much the peak of the frost. You couldn't hardly go down the road 5 miles an hour. It was so heaved, and so hopefully it's going to ease off a little bit. We did talk with the gentleman who was the head of the homeowners association, and he understood that there's nothing he could do about it at that time. We're going to have some big full-depth repairs in there, and one section for about 50 feet. The road just heaved up in the center line, and so you had about a 6-inch difference. Even if that goes down, we're still going to. It's all crumbled. We'll dig it out and do a big full-depth repair in there. But other than that, I think we fared fairly well. We have some blowouts here and there, and yes, we do know that Washington is kind of a unique situation. We often would go up to the county and say, gosh, how come Washington seems to be holding up so well? Well, it's pretty simple. It's a concrete road underneath. So all we're really dealing with is a little bit of an overlay course on there, and so that's on the plans to take care of that. So
that broke up this winter.
Yeah, and the water got under there and just blew it off of there. So, but the actual road is still there. Yeah, you got a tremendous base, so it's not as big an issue as it appears. And PJ, you said you took a look at it. My Ascot so far.
Yeah, I drove that. That's no worse for wear.
Yeah, and so it's got a little bit of heaving in it, but not as hopefully all that full depth repair will continue to perform in there, and so we're counting on that. So that's pretty much we'll have a thing, snow school again this year. We're going to send a couple guys to that. And we've got a couple issues here that we'll address on the new business. So, Mike?
Okay. Yeah, PJ and Fred and I were at the Gold Awards for Eagle Scouts, and Andrew Sinonis and Jonathan Wiegand, who did the projects for the flag pole at the park and then the flag drop off here. They had a really nice ceremony for them. And I guess we say it had like 220 flags collected so
he's
far.
over 200. Yeah.
So it was pretty impressive. And so I just wanted to thank them again. And I met with the fireworks committee, and just these are things, just some tidbits we have so far. We confirmed it for Sunday, July 5th. Monday, July 6th would be the rain date. We're using American Fireworks as the provider. We're out of Hudson. We're going to do some shifting around. Bring probably the bounce houses and things down to the grassy area, a little closer to the fireworks. Bring the band out away from the alcove and bring the food services out to that turnaround in front of the building. And other than that, there's only a few other, some signage, parking issues. So we're meeting with React and stuff to get so really just some tweaking, but it's pretty much we're hoping to have a repeat of last year. That's all I had, PJ.
Mike, here's a question for you, and I'm probably going to do this year anyway, but we should be able to see those pretty well from our park.
Yeah.
I don't know if if there's parking issues or whatnot, but I want to see how that looks from our place.
Well, that's it's a high spot. Obviously.
It is.
Yeah, but we just don't want to get people getting a little silly and parking on the grass.
Oh, it's not. That would be the problem if we had fireworks there. There isn't enough parking, period.
Right.
But you could see the tops of those fireworks from the farm out there.
Yeah.
Not that far away.
Yeah.
So I would think that'd be a pretty good vantage point right there.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
I'll probably I'll be down at the school working it,
Yeah.
so you
Just a thought.
can get back to me on how it works out. I've been designated as the golf cart designee again. So
You get to drive the golf cart?
huh?
You get to drive the golf cart?
Well, actually, I have to find us a golf cart, and then actually last year the Scouts did it.
Oh.
They thought that was pretty cool. You kind of got to keep an eye on them because the young girls don't need rides here.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be taking
Old girls do.
Yeah, but they seemed to enjoy that last year, so I'm going to do that again.
Fred, you want to go first or me?
I will go first, if that's okay. Get this out of the way. Got our regular reports in front of you guys. We've got fund status report, revenue status report, and appropriation status. If you take a look at those, we're getting really down there on the fund status as far as what we have for funds available. The good news is we just got a major tax advance from the auditor. It could not have come soon enough. And so we've got a little over $1 million that we'll be putting into those funds. So that's what's going on as far as revenue goes. There's a payment listing in front of you for warrants 2227 through 2256. Total amount of $46,096.89. And those warrants are in front of you for signatures. It's time to finally commit to our permanent appropriations. So I put a resolution in front of you for our permanent appropriations for fiscal year 2015. No surprises in here. This is basically tracking off of last year for our appropriations. A couple of areas to highlight where there was a little bit of increase in appropriations would be, for example, for in each of the funds for healthcare insurance, there was a sizable increase last year in what we spent for healthcare insurance, and that is reflected again this year. Mostly within 10% or less variance from last year. There is, I did want to point out in the general fund, in transfers out under the general fund, this is something that we haven't really done in the past, but I did appropriate, or I'm asking for an appropriation of $100,000 into that account. That's account 1910 on the first, second, third, fourth page. And that's just so that we have that money sitting in the transfers out account that can be used, for example, in road and bridge if we need to cover some purchase at any particular point. That can always be reallocated to another account within the general fund if we need to. I'm only pointing it out because it's not something that we've traditionally done.
Wait a minute, you're pulling this from general to R&B?
No.
No.
It's just sitting in the transfers out account so that it could be taken over to R&B or whatever other fund we wanted to put it into. And that's just so that we're setting aside a particular amount of money to say, this is something that we could have set aside to fund other things if we need to.
But it is general fund money.
It is general fund money, and it can always be reallocated to another part of the general fund. It kind of shortcuts having to go back in later and doing a supplemental appropriation.
Yeah, but there's been lots of times it's a road, something that comes up late in the season that we've got extra money and we can. I think maybe something like the concrete panels or something like, and
this is just so that it's already set aside and we don't have to jump through hoops when we need to use it.
Because previously we had a series of sections, contracted services that we pulled that out of.
Right. Well, we still do.
Still can, but this is specifically designated
for. It could be for road and bridge. It could be for fire department. It could be for whatever we need to pull it out of the general fund for.
But just to make it clear, it's money that was already in the general fund.
Yes.
And what was it designated as before? Which areas did we take it out of to get that?
Well, it's coming out of. It was unappropriated funds.
Okay.
So it's a new appropriation.
All right.
And then.
Give me that number again.
Sure.
All right.
It's
Page 2 is 7 here, PG.
1,990. I'm sorry, 1,910.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So it's sitting in this account. This is the account number right here. And we're just saying that money is earmarked to be used in our special revenue funds.
Yeah.
Right. Does that make sense to you, John? To kind of set that money aside and...
Yeah, that's fine.
And of course, we still have quite a bit of unappropriated cash still.
Well, it's something we've.
We've got 2 projects alone here that are going to wipe that out. So.
Yeah, we flip money. We flip money out of the general fund in R&D.
Sure.
Almost every year.
Sure.
But this is kind of like pulling it out, and it's on the shelf ready to go.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. That's exactly it. In a couple of other areas, trying to reduce sort of having things designated as other expenses.
All right, I get you then.
I tried to reduce that and put it into, for example, instead of having other under general administration, let's put it under office supplies because that's what it's going to be used for. That's pretty much it. Everything else, like I said, it lines up with last year.
All right. You want this in resolution form then?
Yeah.
Resolution 2015-6 for permanent appropriations for fiscal year 2015. Board of Trustees, Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, met regular session on what are we today? The 16th day of March. And all present. And I'll make the motion to adopt the following resolution. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio. Excuse me. Following permanent appropriations for fiscal year 2015 are hereby adopted as shown below. And this form, which I guess is available. So there's the motion.
One second.
John?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes.
Okay, the resolution is adopted. Then the only other thing I need is we need to give money back to the auditor. The county auditor, there was an overpayment of estate taxes in the amount of $2,759.62 from the estates of A. Smith and the estate of E. Morse, and they're asking for that money back, so we have to send it back to them. And I need a motion for supplemental appropriation within that other expenses account under the general fund to pay that back.
My guess is this goes back into those estates.
I would hope that
That's
back.
yeah.
Subject to our normal check writing policy as they use when they send us a check.
Right.
Second.
Was that a motion, TJ?
John was closer to a motion there.
John?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
TJ?
Yes. Okay, a lot of my stuff is further on down the agenda, so we'll get to that when we get to it because we got to get to Shane here. He's been here for about 6 hours now waiting for this moment. Met with that builder with the constructing the bench up there today. Now that the 3 feet of snow is gone, you can actually see what's going on. Nancy and I were up there with him today, and I think we'll get that quote in. I told him, I said, we're on time frame here, Memorial Day, so I think we're all on the same page now anyway. Walked across the street to the museum. Held up remarkably well this winter. I had concerns about the slate roof and everything else, but I see
Still there.
the ceiling looks good. Yeah, the windows are all in. The door's a little sticky there, needs some oil, but survived another winter. So, like I said, the rest of my stuff is on down the agenda. So we'll just move along from there, I guess. Shane, you want to?
Do your old business.
We got our grant from, we were, I think we were on the first townships that applied for this Christmas tree recycling grant, and we've been doing it for, I can't tell you how many years now. It's a lot of them. We were there from the start, but we got our grant for this year too, another $215.62 to grind up the Christmas trees.
And it goes back to R&B.
Yes. That service garage study, let's move that down after Shane. Okay, he's been here a while. Is that Shane Hajar from the engineer's office?
The first order on the agenda is the resolution to order the improvement of Stafford Road, Section C and D, Township Road 187. We've met with John and Emmerich, both here in the field, to resolve a number of the issues that exist out there. The trees have been cleared, and the project is ready to go. We do have the Ohio Public Works funding that will supplement the project, and the final estimate is $1 million for the project. And that will be to replace the drainage under the road and along the ditches, shape the ditches so that they have a consistent shape and depth and offset from the edge of the road, cement stabilize the existing base of the road, and then put a new asphalt, three-course asphalt road on top of that. And provided that we do get approval tonight, we'll go out to bid in April.
You looking for the church?
No, is there an AA meeting?
2 doors
Up the road at the church.
Up the road?
Yep.
All right, thanks.
Where's Dude?
We would open the bids on April 6th, and following the normal award and contract period, should start construction late May, early June. It will require the road to be closed during the duration of the project. There'll be detours, signs put up taking you Munn to Washington to Auburn. We understand that local traffic will choose their own routes as they need to, including Frank's, which is second on the agenda for rechipping that, but the detour will be set up to take the county route around. There will be a detour sign put up at the end of Wing at Washington Street. We did include an extra sign just north of the patio, hopefully to encourage people not to try to drive up and through if they don't live within the construction site. We have had issues with closed roads being used by through traffic, and despite our best efforts to discourage that, it's really hard. People live there. We strongly encourage the people to live there to have free access to and from their homes, but in doing so, it invites the people that aren't courteous enough to go around, and if it becomes a habitual problem, either the township or the county will notify the law enforcement, and we've had to issue citations. Well, not we. The sheriff's department has had to issue citations to people that violate the road closed in the past. So it should be about a 60 to 75 day process, and we're hoping to get the project started right as school's letting out, and be just about ready to send the kiddos back to school on a brand new road.
Okay. This will be resolution 2015-04. I'm not going to read the whole thing because Shane has pretty much summarized the entire thing here. So this is a resolution to order the improvement of Stafford Road, Section C and D, Township Road 187 of Auburn Township, Jogga County. With the one change here, and we're going to initial this at the bottom, we're going to open the bids at 7:45 on April 6th. That's the motion to adopt that.
Second?
John,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
PJ.
Yes. Is it 2 copies of the same one?
Yeah.
We should have one here for Frank's as well, correct?
Yeah, well, before we move to the next order, the second part to this would be to sign the original cover sheet of the plans. And I've provided an extra copy for your records, but that original will be used as the cover for the plans that will get distributed to the contractors.
And then this would be our copy to go on file here.
We've gone over these many times.
I just need the one sheet. Fred, what I'll do is I'll scan this in and email you a scanned copy of that for your file.
We got that one.
Oh, you've got your own signed on there?
They
Okay.
signed it there. So
Okay. Just put the date on the bottom there. March 16th.
Do you need one piece?
I do, please. Thank you. Thank you. All right. And the second order of business, a little less suspenseful, is the re-chipping and sealing of Frank's in its entirety. And it's 2.17 miles. It will receive a double chip and seal. It'll get a first coat of 6 and 7 stone, and then it'll get rechipped with number 8s that will continue to carry that road forward for the next several years. And the project will also will open on the same day at 7:50 on April 6th. And the engineer's estimate for that project is $100,000. Any questions or anything on that one?
Yeah, we're pretty familiar with chip seal around here, so.
Do that. That's the original.
Okay, Shane just summarized, so I'm just going to read the resolution to order. It is resolution number 2015-05. To order the improvement of Franks Road, Township Road 193 in Auburn Township. A motion to adopt.
Second?
John,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
PJ.
Yes.
Do you need signatures on this?
Yes, please.
Get the second page.
And then, as is typical, we will forward the legal notifications to the newspaper tomorrow, and they will go into the paper on Thursday. They will also be available for view. The plans and legal notice will be on our county website.
Do we need to change times in those?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's that. Got to make that It should have been part of my motion. Let me fix that to
Yeah.
the time reflected.
I mentioned it, but
Okay.
it is so noted on the resolution.
And we better
And the legal notice.
initial that
Those
as
will be
well.
updated tomorrow morning when I get
Okay.
to work and before they go to the newspaper.
750 for that one.
Yeah. Every township has a different meeting time. And
Yeah.
I got,
PJ, you want to initial that?
must have got the wires crossed on that one.
Initial the date.
I want to just thank Shane and his office. We really put a lot of hours in on the Stafford Code project, and it's the biggest project the township's ever, road project we've ever attempted, and it's really gone just seamlessly. And I mean, you know, it's been a culmination of about 3 years now, but it's interesting that as we went down the road last summer, looking at every bolt, nut, and washer, so to speak. I mean, everything they had really detailed for us, and it made it a lot really easy compared to past projects. So I'll thank your team. They
Yeah.
really.
Thank you. I'll pass on the.
Yeah, you guys should do this for a living.
Yeah. So.
Oh, it's nice to see you guys, you know, the township spending this kind of money on a project like this. It's nice to see the engineer out, a presence at the meetings, so this is good. Pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Is it okay to ask?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there anything that is in the contract and stuff for this to help avoid the problem that they had on the other end of Stafford Road?
The Bainbridge
That they didn't start until August or whenever it
I
was?
think that's what you were referencing there.
To the benefit of this project, this whole bidding process is about 2.5 months earlier than the Bainbridge section, and unfortunately, last year we saw a prevalence of one particular contractor involved in multiple projects, and they exceeded their capabilities, which put each project that followed a little further behind the last one, and that particular project or particular contractor will be carefully watched if they're involved in the bidding process, so that doesn't happen again. Fortunately, as well, this is the only major reconstruction project that we're administering this year. We're doing a lot of resurfacing, milling and filling projects, as opposed to last year we had 3 reconstruction projects, and Bainbridge's was 3rd out of 3. So I don't anticipate that happening. Certainly we want to do everything we can to prevent that, because there's definitely some signs of heaving that were more severe than some of the other projects that we've seen in the past.
Good. Okay, so yeah, they're mindful of what happened there. Good question. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Shane.
All set?
Yep.
All right. I will get you copies of. Did I get a copy of the resolution? I don't think I did.
I should have given you originals of that.
I didn't get the chip and seal.
Yeah, we just do it right there. Just initial off on the change of time there.
Page 2.
So I can keep mine.
Thank you, Mother.
Alright. So fine. You can have the same. Yep.
And you got the
I do have the covers.
approval and the cover sheets.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Alright. Alright, thanks guys.
Thanks, Shane.
All right,
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Take the rest of the night off.
John, you want to go over this? We've talked about doing an addition or an expansion at the garage.
Well, yeah. About a month ago, we appropriated some funds to do a study, talked to some people, and of course one of the people we called was Larson. Did a pretty darn good job for us at the fire station. He drafted up this proposal, and I don't know if each of you had a chance to study it, but basically we asked him to do three things in a preliminary basis for us. Three concepts help us kind of decide what concept we want to go with, and then we'll do that obviously in more detail and be the second step. But the first option would be to rebuild the existing garage. We do have some issues down there that we do need to address, and so they would identify those ways to address it. And the first option being to maybe add about 4,000 square feet to the west of the existing building would be one idea. Upgrade the interior to be, meet current standards. Second option would be to take down the pole barn that was put up about 20 years ago, and on the south side, and then rebuild the building, maybe adding 6,000 or so square feet to the south and to the west. Upgrade the facility to meet existing conditions, requirements. And then the other concept would be to perhaps just build a brand new building situated maybe somewhere on that site, maybe just west of the road there. And so those are the three options that we asked them to look at for us. In they would do that for a fee of $4,800. I think it's pretty reasonable. Gave me a little bit of outline. They'll meet with the road guys several times, come out, measure everything. We don't really have a real accurate site plan other than we have an overview that was done when the fire station was changed. So we have that building sited, and of course they have that drawing as well.
Well, that's where we were at when we did the fire station. The first thing we had to do was come up with, we had 10,000 I think was our budget to, let's take a look at what our options are. Because it's a lot of work right there just to go through that.
We don't, we need that.
That was the best thing we ever did, and I think Larson's a good choice because he worked out really well for us.
And the best part of that is each of these concept plans will be accompanied by a preliminary cost estimate.
Well, yeah. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, but the idea is if you do this, it could cost about this. If you do that, it'll cost about this, and we'll see what ballparks we're playing in. I think what we'd like to look at, and we kind of did this when we did the fire station, is try to look ahead 20 years. That seem reasonable to you guys? The existing building is about 30 years old. But I don't, in 20 years, I think maybe we'll pretty much be built out, don't you? Would you guess?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to be looking at Chief 35 years. We both wanted to be long gone. Before it ever has to be.
But I'm just saying, what I guess we're looking at a how many bay issue by how many plow trucks and stuff. Obviously it's still going to be snowing, and we're going to need to have plow trucks.
Yeah, and there's a lot of traffic concerns there too, because you got trucks coming in and out, and loading. You got to keep the yard big enough. You don't want to, you know.
Well, you know, we want to leave the salt building where it is. And now the salt building, we really have a lot of experience with that now. The salt building will just go south. We could add a couple sections onto the salt building. We want the width is ideal, so we can just, if we need to, you know, put a little more storage in there. That's not a big deal. But you know, right now we can dump a semi in there, no problem. So we would just, if we wanted to expand that. So we also have a nice flow where we're able to come in. Drive around, come in, go, pull straight ahead, back into the building, dump, and go.
Well, that's my point. You want to make sure you keep that.
And so the salt building will stay where it is, but we do need to look at some site issues. There's we have the septic tanks, or not the tanks, but the field. Obviously, we share that with the fire station, and you know that's going to stay where it is. So that.
Well, Mike, you can speak to that a little. That's the kind of thing Larson looks at, isn't that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's he's getting paid for it. So.
There might be some commonality in some of the issues, some of the things on the site that are already there. He'll study that for us.
Sure.
So that would be my motion, is to go ahead and contract with Larson. For this study. He's under our budget, and
I will second.
John?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes. Okay, bunch of maintenance things here. And, I'll start with Radix Chemical Lawn Care. We did a fertilizer program up there on the grass at the park. Mike Ludwig and I crunched all these numbers a year ago right now, and everything. It's not the greatest estimate ever written. It's the same one they gave us, and the cost is exactly the same. But after we sorted through it last year, it was appropriate. So since there's no cost increase whatsoever, motion to continue with that contract.
Second.
And that's for $4,725 for 5 different applications of different types of fertilizer next year.
John?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes.
And we need a signature on here.
I got room for 2. Guess we just need 1.
Yeah.
Should be very diligent to not get 2 at a time.
Check it. Good job.
Landscape maintenance, lawn mowing. We've got a proposal, a little change here you can discuss. All the same mowing as before, including fire station, all the cemeteries, the museum, Adam Hall, volleyball courts, administration building, town hall. We're also talking to Emmerich, and we added between the garage and Auburn Road down here, they've been going, and the other field there on the west end, around the helipad.
Yeah, south of the fire station.
The additional for that would be $1,775.48 for the entirety for the year. So last year's contract being $14,217.97 if we include the balance of the property that our guys have been doing in the areas I just described. This year's contract would be $15,993.45. Any thoughts or?
I think that's a great idea. I really do.
We're putting a dollar values we were looking at a few years back for just the
I know what I got paid. By the time I pay, I'm gonna pay. We're gonna cost us more if I have to do it.
Yeah.
It could quite possibly. This is what, our third year with them, maybe fourth now?
Yeah, they've been doing a good job.
And I don't believe we have not had an increase in this entire thing.
No.
So
And we haven't had any complaints about the work they're doing either.
No, they've been doing, and if they're, I think Emmerich had them up one time, called them up, boom, boom, handled, no problem.
they've been responsive. Yes, they have.
I'll make a motion to take the agreement as written from JFD Landscapes for the 1 year property maintenance for
$15,993
with the option. Yeah.
with the option.
45. I'll second that.
John,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
PJ,
Yes. Okay.
signatures on that.
Flower bed maintenance around the buildings, the various buildings that we just mentioned. 7 Auburn Township properties involved here. They're going to apply a pre-emerge in the spring. Prep soil for flower planting, weed control throughout the season, deep edging in the beds, mulch beds with aged shredded hardwood, mulch, fall cleanup. 324-inch pots of varying colors for maximum impact prior to Memorial Day. And then more at the fire station. John, we discussed that with Nancy. We got to water them, so there's something we got to do.
Why is that?
I don't know, because they need water, I guess.
No, he usually have plenty of rain.
Well, you never know.
Don't say that.
Same cost as last year. That's $4,000.83 oddball cents for all of these buildings, and $425.09. They come up with that at the fire station. So once again, a maintenance contract. I'll make a motion to accept that. Same price as last year.
Including the fire department.
Yes.
All right, yeah, second.
John,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
PJ,
Yes.
and we need initial, and sign on back.
This other copy for us. Yeah. The signature is
On the back of the first page.
And while you're doing that, I'll go ahead and make the motion for the waste management service agreement. Same as last year's, $49.50 per month for Adam Hall, and $82.50 per month for Road Garage.
Second.
John,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
PJ.
yes. All right, KCE, our commitment with them has continued at $5,000 annually. Goes back to the original contract in the 70s that both townships are going to kick in on this. And well, seems to be working up there based on recent meetings. That's for KCE.
KC,
5,000.
5,000.
Yep. Got Got a motion from John and a second from Mike.
John,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
PJ.
Yes.
I'm going to go back up to the health district there, PJ.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Got a letter, well, maybe 6, 8, 10 days ago from Mike Tusick at the Solid Waste District. There it is. And this is these new septic regs. The new administrative code says as follows: written permission shall be obtained from the owner, agency, or other controlling entity for placement of a drain outlet within right-of-way or legally established public drainage improvements. So in other words, this is for, and I did call to make sure this was not, it's phase 2 related because frankly these septic systems are out of phase 2. Okay, but it's got nothing to do with our one-time involvement with the phase 2 with these discharges into the ditches. This is just blanket, everybody, new septic regs. It will not include existing ones.
Right.
Right now. Right now.
Well, to be honest with you, we've got a ton of these already.
Oh yeah, that's what I said.
We have a ton of these already, and the only thing that I'm interested in, and I want to throw up is, I don't want to get involved in the permits and all that.
That's the question.
I would just like, though, to have them notify us prior to issuing a permit, and notify MREC. And that would just so that when we see these things going in, we know that somebody isn't just putting it in there. And that's what happened with all the septic systems that are draining into the ditch right now. We've always had rules that said you can't have any off-lot discharge. Mm-hmm. We've always had that. And the people that violated it is all of the people putting in the septic systems.
Well, there's footer drains going out there.
Right.
There's
everything. Drains,
there's everything out there.
The whole shebang. Now, the argument is when it's draining into the ditch, it's very, very easy to monitor because there's no permission to go on the property required. You go right to that ditch, boom, take a sample. So I'm all in favor of that. But it's just so we know. That'd be my thought. But I don't want to be the guy that issues the permit.
That's what they're asking. Yeah. Would we want to issue the permits, or would we like that? I think the health district would like to keep control of this themselves after talking to Mike Tusick up there. Jen, you do make an excellent point. And wonder how we can develop or ask them to develop a procedure that there's a joint notification.
Right, for Auburn Township. I mean, I got to imagine every township's going to want to know that. You just can't, one day a pipe shows up sticking out in the ditch. You got to know, hey, where did this come from ahead of time?
Well, we have, they want us to respond within 45 days. The letter was dated last week. Like 10 days ago. So let's put that on the agenda for the next meeting.
Well,
and we'll work up a letter.
Approving it. I just want to put that caveat in there.
They said respond within 45 days, so we'll respond within 30 days. That's good. So let's get a letter together asking. You talk to Nancy, I'll talk to Nancy, and we'll have her work something up. Saying what you just said. Yeah. And then we'll put it on the agenda for the next meeting. I'm with you.
Do you want to at least put it up for motion as to whether or not we'll do the permits?
No, we'll do that. Then we'll just deal with the whole thing at the next meeting. The other concern I have is how long before the existing ones are, you know what I mean? He was real clear. This doesn't even include...
That's a project right there for somebody to go figure that out.
This doesn't even...
going on in 10 years.
This doesn't even include septic systems that were issued permits to be constructed up until this day. He said it's going to be only from 45 days after when they have to take it over. So he's aware that...
Yeah, it does seem to make the most sense to let the health district deal with it.
Well, that's still, if you look at the build out of the township, that's a lot of systems still to go.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, it hasn't been bad. And I can't, to be honest with you, I can't think of a system that we found faulty that has that discharge.
Yeah, you know, what is it, 96% passing rate on point of sale inspections too, from what the health
It's
district
because all
says.
that great work they're doing for us down in Columbus.
Yeah. Fred, you got some cemetery deeds?
I do.
Okay, the last Saturday in April will be the 25th this year, and that's what we've got the scouts all lined up and ready to go for roadside cleanup day. We'll have a dumpster. We got bags up here. We will, you know, as we get closer to the day. So, anyone needs some of those supplies to go out and clean up a road, we'd certainly appreciate any help from anybody.
Who's going to cook the hot dogs this year?
It'll be
And they're bringing in a guest cooker
guest cooker.
from over on the
Michael
western part of
Michael
Michael somebody. Somebody from the west part of the township, I think.
Carl's like, I'll do it.
Yeah, so we'll have some supplies here as we get closer to that date. That usually comes sometime in mid-April.
Fred, you gotta sign those.
All right, we're at the end of the agenda. Any public comment
I
tonight?
got one more. Keep on here.
Nope.
Nope,
What
you
I
got
missed?
it.
What I missed?
You got it. You got it. Okay.
Anybody?
Everything.
Thank you all for coming out tonight.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Hey, John. Okay, so what are the doors right here?
John,
Yes.
My dad and all.
Yes.
PJ,
Yes.
8:30.